Coming up in this bulletin, curfew imposed on Tafo Kumasi in the wake of clashes that has left 2 people dead.
Seventh African Conference on Sexual Health and Rights opens in Accra.
And on the foreign front, 6 civilians killed and about 30 injured in a double suicide attack in Cameroon's northern border region with Nigeria. Hello, good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. This is News Hour, coming to you live on your all-news channel, GBC24 and GTV. My name is Akpene Avo Ajaja.
I am Shirley, and Robert Frimpong Manso is our signer for tonight.
In the details, news reaching GBC24 indicate a curfew is in place at Old Tafo in the Ashanti region. The curfew, which runs from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., was imposed in the wake of clashes between rival groups, which left 2 people dead.
Nicholas Osewusu is a correspondent for GBC24 in the Ashanti region and has the details on the clashes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you tell us exactly what's going on in Kumasi right now, especially at the Tapo area?
In fact, even though the situation has been brought under control, but it's very, very, very tense. Very, very tense. I must place emphasis on that. Because as it is now, there's massive security presence here at Tafo, especially very close to the market. We have the police, both police and military, on the ground monitoring the situation. Even though the people seem calm for now, but there are indications, fake signals from around the palace of the chief that if nothing is done within the shortest possible time, to bring those perpetrating this crime under control, the people are also.
So, what can you tell us about what might have started this conflict?
Yes, what I have gathered so far is that the whole issue is centered around a portion of the Tafo cemetery. You know, it's a very large acreage of land that has been reserved purposely as a cemetery. It was established in 1925 by the British or the colonial masters. And it was handed over to the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, known then as the City Council, for management. Right from that time, the cemetery has been under the management and control of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. But as tradition demands, most of these cemeteries in the Ashanti region are also within the control or purview of traditional authorities. And that is exactly what is happening here. When I spoke to the chief linguist of the town of Tafo, Nana also Chabremko, what he said is that about 3 weeks ago, information got to the chief that the person allocated to Muslims for burial of their dead relatives, has been encroached or is being extended without lawful authority or legal authority from the managers of the facility. So he took it upon himself to talk to the security, the police command, and the police command took over the issue in view of the security nature of it. But before they could say anything or they could do anything else, all that they heard was that this afternoon a number of people alleged to be or supposedly Muslims demanded that the chief allows them to continue with the development at the cemetery. And because of the nature of the situation, the chief said they had already handed over the matter to the police because they didn't want to do anything that could breach the peace and security of the area. So they had nothing to do as at this time until the police reacted to the situation. So all of a sudden, they saw this mob numbering about 300. The chief was around the place, and the mob allegedly attacked the chief. Physically, they assaulted him, resulting in some bodily injuries to him. As I speak to you, he is indoors, and there's been both police and military protection around the palace of the chief. I mean, Atapo. That's the situation. The place is very tense. The situation very, very tense.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. We'll get back to you for further details when there are any more developments to this particular issue. Thank you very much, Nicholas.
You're welcome.
All right. All right.
And that was an earlier interview with our Ashanti regional correspondent, Nicholas Owusu. Still in the Ashanti region, fire has swept through parts of the National Culture Center at Kumasi.
We have more on that fire outbreak from our Ashanti regional correspondent.
Yes, we were there around 1:15. I was actually in a meeting with my director and then our chief accountant. And then we were in the meeting and I heard a sound, pa, 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 pa. So I went to open the director's window to see what was happening. I saw fire moving towards the building. So I screamed, fire, fire, and we all rushed out and we went out there with the cultural center. The cultural center shares boundary with the race course, where they've created a new market for the market women. And there are some areas that the contractors during the KG here have also kept their things there. So there is a bush, some bush around it. So the fire was coming from that angle. So we tried fighting the fire and then called the fire service as well. So the fire service was not coming after 5 minutes. So I drove personally to Confirmatory. They have a fire tender there. We are just opposite Confirmatory. So I went there and they also called KNA because their tender wasn't available. So by the time I got there, the KNA was there and then we tried to fight the fire. So whilst we were fighting the fire behind the administration block of the cultural center, a wind blew and then it carried some of the fire into a new building we are building there. It's actually a restaurant, but it has this, how not next build our house. It has this, yes, that's how it is, a storage building, and then the fire fell on it. And within 10 minutes, everything was down.
So how extensive is the damage to the property of the cultural center?
Yeah, that project actually is a PPP project, private partner program, where the culture center is going with a private person. So whatever happens to it happens to us, though we have a private partner who is also supported. And it was even supposed to be inaugurated some few months to come, and now everything is down. To restart, it has to start from the ground.
Now, back in Accra, the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, is calling on the government not to migrate public universities onto the Integrated Personal Payroll Database. The IPDD2, as it is known, is a single salary payment platform for all public sector workers. UTAG
says migrating public universities onto the platform will undermine the autonomy and independence of public universities, as they will not be able to employ or replace academic and technical staff as and when needed.
According to UTAG, for the past few years, the Ministry of Finance has, through several communications to the management of public universities, indicated that the government is to migrate staff payrolls of these universities onto the Integrated Personnel Payroll Database 2, IPDD2. This platform also requires all monies received by the universities, including research grants received from institutions and organizations, to be paid into the central government chest.
University lecturers like us, are paid by government. Okay, this is made in the form of subventions that are paid to the universities. What happens is that the university prepays the lecturers, and then the government subventions that are given them go back to refund these monies that have been spent. Okay, so the universities are largely autonomous in this way, in the financial control of what they do. If this IPPD2 migration is done, then the traditional universities, which have already been exercising what their right is under the acts that established them, would now move directly under government control. Okay, now, as it has been said, the difficulty here then is what happens when you need to recruit new staff.
However, despite a petition by the vice-chancellors of all the public universities to exempt public universities from the said migration, the Ministry of Finance has directed the Controller and Accountant General's Department to start the migration process before the end of March 2016. Else, government will stop the release of subvention to run the public universities. This UTAG believes to be an unfair position government has taken as it will unduly disadvantage public universities.
The potential delay in payment of staff salaries, which could destabilize the smooth operations of the universities. Possible unwillingness of external supporters of university research to have their grants paid into central government chest, knowing that there could be misapplication and delay in releasing the funds at the appropriate time.
UTAC is therefore asking the government to restore the ability of the universities to recruit additional staff needed to support teaching, learning and research by the end of March 2016.
The recent conflict in Bumprugu created a lot of tension, fear and panic among residents in that part of the country. The presidential candidate of the People's National Convention, Dr. Edward Mahama, says such situations should be properly handled in order not to trigger other possible conflicts in the region.
Dr. Edward Mahama expressed these sentiments when he presented a letter on conflict resolution in Bumprugu to the National Peace Council in Accra.
Instability in countries dents national development as well as any integration processes. Although Ghana has not experienced extreme conflicts over the years, there are minor clashes in some regions in the country for which there are curfews in place to regulate movements of persons. To add his voice to the need for peace and to resolve the Bumprugu conflict, the presidential candidate of the People's National Convention, PNC, Dr. Edward Mahama, has handed over a peace deal letter to the National Peace Council to help resolve the conflict in Bumprugu. Dr. Edward Mahama said there is the need to re-strategize and find a permanent solution to the age-old disputes in the area.
We thought we should bring this matter to your attention because the area that we are talking about, a lot of Ghanaians don't even know where Bumprugu is. But I can tell you that the largest carat diamond ever found in Ghana was found in the Nakwanduri Scarp, and the shaft is still there. A colleague of mine who works as a nurse when I was at Nalergo Hospital decided to build his clinic in Bumprugu. He didn't have to buy paint. He went into the scarp and dug up paint and painted the buildings. There is clinker there. And yet these people are killing one another because there is no peace, there is no development, no jobs. It is our conviction that if the national, through the emphasis of the National Peace Council, we are able to bring peace, then investors may even come for this diamond, which is still lying there.
The chairman of the National Peace Council, Reverend Emmanuel Asante, said the peace processes are already in place to ensure a return to lasting peace in Bumprugu.
How do we create a condition for the possibility of this peaceful process? How do we ensure that our brothers and sisters in the Bumprugu area maintain non-aggression pact so that they will allow the courts and justice to prevail so that peace will prevail in that part of Ghana?
Reverend Emmanuel Asante also called on all stakeholders to support in this peace-building exercise to end all existing disputes in the region. For GBC24, Ofeyiwa Dakon reporting.
This is News Hour coming to you live on your all news channel, GBC24 and GTV.
We'll bring you business after this break. Please stay with us.
GBC24. My name is Morris Ogbete. I bring you updates from the world of business. Now, Ghana's inflation rate now stands at 19%, a 1.3 percentage increase over the 17.7% recorded last December. The deputy government statistician, Bawadia, attributed a rise in the recent increase to utility tariffs and transportation fares. The Consumer Price Index measures the change in general prices of goods and services over a period of time. In Ghana, the Ghana Statistical Service measures the rate of inflation using 2012 as the base year. Inflation rate in the country since January 2015 has been rising steadily, hitting its highest levels for the year at 17.9% in July 2015. This, however, started decreasing and closed 2015 at the rate of 17.7%. But inflation is on the rise again, beginning 2016 on a high note of 19%. According to the deputy government statistician, Mr. Banwadier, the rate has been largely affected by movement in the non-food inflation basket, especially increase in utility prices.
The January 2016 rate of 19.0% inflation rate for the entire nation is the highest since January 2013. The main price drivers for the non-food inflation rate were housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, recording an inflation rate of 45.5%, and transport 30.8%.
At the regional level, the Ashanti and Greater Accra regions recorded the highest inflation rate, while the Upper East region recorded the lowest rate.
Ashanti and Greater Accra recorded inflation rates higher than the national average of 19.0%. The Greater Accra region recorded the highest year-on-year inflation rate of 23.1%, while Upper East region recorded the lowest inflation rate of 14.1% for January 2016.
According to Mr. Banwadier, January for the first time also saw inflation for locally produced items record a higher inflation figure compared with inflation for imported items. And so inflation has moved from 17.7% to 19%. DigiCat Production and Advertising, a member of the group Indum, has introduced the first ever mobile advertising vans in the country. These are mobile vans, advertising vans with LED displays suitable for outdoor advertising. The general manager of DigiCat, Mr. Richmond Lamte, announced that these new brands offer companies the opportunity to reach out to everyone across the country.
It's been almost 2 years into the operations of DigiCat, a full-service advertising agency and public relations consult under Group Indum. With the sole aim of meeting clients' demand, DigiCat delivers a holistic approach through innovation, creativity, and excellence coupled with quality, speed, and accuracy. DigiCat majors in designing, media buying, both TV and radio documentaries, production, outdoor advertising such as billboards, signage, posters, branding and rebranding, concept development, and copywriting. With a vision to become a top-class advertising and public relations company that adds value to clients' businesses through the use of technology and innovation, DigiCat has introduced the first ever mobile advertising vans. The mobile vans include a 12 by 10 feet van and two 8 by 7 feet mobile vans. According to the directors of DigiCat, these three digital mobile vans offer companies a good opportunity to carry their messages to the doorstep of their clients, irrespective of the distance or location. The general manager of DigiCat, Mr. Richmond Lamte, explained the rationale behind this novelty.
This is very significant because by June this year, we will have about 1,000 billboards, office and directional signs everywhere in Ghana.
Launching the mobile advertising vans, a board member of DigiCat, Mrs. Vicky Reko Ando, said these vans provide an exciting opportunity for advertising companies to reach the public with their messages.
The digital vans use the latest outdoor LED displays. The vans will carry clients' brands and messages to all the critical points and locations, whether on the road, at public events, at the malls and stores, as well as the big markets around the country.
Management of DigiCut have divided the country into 3 zones in which the mobile vans will operate: the northern, middle and the southern.
Let's do some banking now, because at the annual general meeting of the Naira Rural Bank in the Upper East region, there were calls for the bank to strengthen its customer service and internal controls to block loopholes that often result in losses. The manager of the Tamale branch of the ARB Apex Bank, James Kwesi Akon, made the call on the back of the bank's sterling performance. Ghana's economy in 2014 went through turbulent times, largely driven by a fall in the value of the cedi, high inflation, and a slide in the price of oil on the international market. Despite these challenges, the Naira Rural Bank recorded significant improvement in most of the key performance indicators. The bank maintained a satisfactory rating by the central bank and is currently ranked 31 out of 141 rural and community banks nationwide, as compared to 75 rating in 2013 by the Efficiency Monitoring Unit of the ARB Apex Bank. The board chairman of the bank, Kweku Ananga, said the existence of Naira Rural Bank has ignited the culture of savings and has brought banking services closer to the people in the area. Mr. Anaga expressed worry about the reluctance of some to honor their loan obligation. The outgoing Deputy Upper East Regional Minister, Daniel Syme, urged the bank to embark on robust financial literacy education programs that will help strengthen the bank's relationship with the local people. The success story of the Naira Rural Bank cannot be told without acknowledging the impact it had on some SMEs in the area. Let's go to the interbank market, where the cedi today lost to the US dollar, the pound sterling, and the euro. On the international commodities market, gold lost $15.80 to sell at $1,182.90 on the market. Light crude and cocoa appreciated by 59 cents and $2 respectively. We have much more in this bulletin. Stay with us.
You're still watching news on GBC24. GTV would move over to GTV for some live coverage of a dinner held by the First Lady, and we'll move on GBC24. We'll be back after this break. Now to some health news. The Ghana AIDS Commission has commended the First Lady, Mrs. Lordina Mahama, for her work on female sexuality and health, as well as care for vulnerable persons in the society. The Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Angela Eladas, has told GBC24 that the First Lady's role as UN AIDS Ambassador against the deadly disease complements the Commission's work towards achieving desirable results. Napoleon Atukito reports. We'll bring you details of that story later. Now, as the current outbreak of the meningitis rages on, we provide you with some tips on the disease.
Thanks for staying on. We'll have to end news hour for now. We appear to be facing some challenges, but we'll bring you details of all the stories you've watched and many more at 10:30 when we come your way with news tonight. Thanks so much for watching.